You are listening to the Foamy Heads Podcast, where we discuss craft beer and anything else that accompanies a glass.
Old. Because I'm now really see we can't even use technology. Like, what's this right here? Yeah, the countdown gets us every time. Merch switch.
Yeah, these are sweet.
New Cedar Glade hats. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, you're welcome.
These are awesome.
I
have the underneath. Yeah, you take yours off, Mitch.
Bill.
That's so cool.
Yeah, got our trees going on.
I love that.
Couple of patches. I like the Tennessee patch on the back. It's pretty cool.
I'm a fan of. I like them both. Right. I rock this one a lot. This one right here. This trucker hat.
It's a good color scheme.
I like it. Yeah, on the
side
side right here. Like that's a cool logo.
Yeah, I liked that colorway a lot. The gray and that tan, the lighter tan is almost pink.
Yeah,
like just almost. Yeah, I like it.
But I like this underbill. Like I like the print underneath it. That's really cool.
Yeah, that was suave. Shout out to Brewery Branding Company. So we met them at CBC 2 years ago, and that's who they will custom make hats, and it is a little bit of a process, but they sent us samples and been super responsive. Great folks. Eric Abodili. I probably said your name totally wrong, and I apologize, buddy.
That's his fault. His last name's really hard to pronounce.
That's it, especially for us Tennessee.
Yeah, that's not your fault. Yeah.
But
Jonathan.
It's like, simple, right?
Yeah, there's no way to well.
No, there is. Yeah, I've had it happen. But no, they're doing a great job, man. And so check them out if you own a business.
Brewery Branding
Company. That's it.
I love it.
Brewery Branding.
I appreciate the hats again. We're switching gears a little bit too. So I think we've all
in a hallelujah chorus right there.
Yeah. We've got a sound effects board. We've got the Owen Wilson. Wow.
Yeah.
We've got the hand clappings. We just don't utilize. We've got so many good clips.
Yeah.
On there that we could just throw in. So maybe something for next time. But something would have definitely fit right there.
Yeah,
for sure. And we're switching gears from the non-alcoholic because yes, this is a Damp January episode. You're good at coining terms. What was the last one? First,
we had connecting
flights. Mitch,
awesome.
We finished one flight and then you brought out another. It's like, how many of these do we have? And it's just like it was one flight after another. Yeah. And Connecting Flights was born that day.
It was. That's a good term.
That was a really good term.
That's solid.
But in the name of Damp January, because we're doing all non-alcoholic offerings, the first round, now we've actually got some Cedar Glade beers sitting in front of us. And I'm very excited for this one here on the end. I don't know what order you guys are going to take us through.
That's all Robert. Robert set the tone on this. So we've jumped into his purview now, and these are, with the exception of Simic, all three of these are his babies.
Okay.
Start to finish, his babies. He'll ask me a few opinion, like bounce stuff off of me. But pretty much these are his babies.
Okay.
And I'm super proud of the work that he does. And I'm really proud of all four of these beers. So I'm excited to hear him talk about it.
Let's go. Robert, what order are we going here, man?
Y'all tell me. Y'all want to start with chocolate milk or do y'all want to start with sour?
I think we should probably start with chocolate. It's the lightest flavor profile wise, I think.
I'm just pulling up the
recipe. We don't want to screw up that flavor with some of these others. So
This one's interesting because this is the MTSU chocolate milk stout.
Yeah.
This is not the first time you've brewed this either.
This is the second.
This is okay because you guys released this a few months back. I remember the post on Instagram and I got super excited, and then I didn't get any.
Oh,
so this is
sucks.
This is prototype 2.
Yep.
Okay,
and it's still in development.
Yeah. Okay. Got a few things that he knows for sure on the third batch that are going to change.
Okay.
And we're working on our partnership with MTSU on this to solidify that, to be able to can it and all of that.
And I would say we'll taste it first, but the one thing that I will say,
it smells great
in this beer, we use the exact chocolate powder that they put in their chocolate milk in this beer.
Okay.
Wow. Which, if you've ever had MTSU chocolate milk, you know. It's if you know, you know. It's something. It's
I love the smell of it. It does not look like a dark stout to me. I expected for the chocolate milk for it to be darker in color.
Well, but chocolate milk is not dark in color.
Right.
So this is on the lightest end of what is still a stout.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's
wow.
Hey, that's a great balance with chocolate milk and the base.
None of these flavorings are like taking over either.
Yeah.
I'm getting the beer, I'm getting the chocolate, I'm getting the creaminess. Like, I'm getting every flavor profile.
Yeah.
And nothing stepping on each other.
Super balanced.
Oh, that's good.
That is solid.
What's the ABV on this one?
5.5.
5. It's low.
5.6.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's tasty.
That is awesome.
So I'd love your feedback. It is good, but what do you think that it still needs? Because we fully acknowledge that it still needs some things.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so for me, the color is a little throwing me off. It's definitely not subtracting from the experience, but like when I see a stout and I think like dark, I thought this was the chocolate milk stout, just because it's much darker. I'm thinking a little bit darker in color. I don't know. It's hard to mess with it. Like the rest of it tastes really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have the first one, so I'm actually very interested in what the difference was between the first one and this one.
So the first one I brewed on our small 1-barrel pilot system. So I had to scale up this recipe to a larger 3.5 barrel. Sure. I didn't change anything on the recipe. I added a little more chocolate powder. But in scaling up the recipe, it's not quite like a linear progression.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't swell. It doesn't.
You don't scale up that by 3.5.
No.
Yeah. So that's where I need to make some adjustments because it did come out lighter than what the last one was.
Okay.
As far as the flavor, it's
pretty close.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
I had to add, I guess, a couple different rounds of chocolate powder in this one because the initial wasn't chocolatey enough.
For me, the biggest thing on this that it needs to be just like this much thicker,
Okay.
like a little more lactose in there, just a little more body.
Yep. Yeah. I'm
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Yeah. I'll probably increase the boil time at least 30 minutes, maybe another hour.
What would that do?
So that's going to, for one, it could make it a little darker, a little more alcohol, but I can scale the recipe to make it different.
Right.
But I want to thicken it up a little more.
But not a ton, because this is one that we do want to be able to serve at a football game and still drink.
Yeah.
But we don't want a heavy
I want to drink this when it's warm outside too.
Yes.
And if it's too heavy, then I'm going to steer away from it.
But it still has to have a little more body so that it is still chocolate milky.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm also adding more lactose in this next go around as well.
Interesting.
To make it a little more creamier,
Mm-hmm.
more like chocolate milk, right?
So what was the inspiration for something like that?
So we've got a great partnership with MTSU, not just with athletics, but with the university itself. Robert's an alum from the fermentation sciences program over there. And so we got to know Dr. Johnston, who has since retired. And we've also become pretty good friends with a fellow named Andrew Ottman, who is the head of marketing, not like the department, not like the school of marketing, but like marketing for the university.
I see. Okay.
And ever since we started doing beer in the beer garden, he's been like, we got to do a chocolate milk stout. We got to do a chocolate. And we didn't do it for 2 years. And then finally it's like, okay, Andrew, we'll do it. And he was able to get us in connection to get the chocolate powder. And he's helped us. We're working through the ins and outs, the licensing and such, to be able to actually make this a legitimate product.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And so between like now and then, that's where we're trying to perfect this and get it to where it needs to be. And we got a lot of feedback from a lot of the MTSU folks. Like even little things like adding a little bit of table salt to it.
It was crazy.
And that accentuates the chocolate flavor.
Dude, it was awesome.
I can see that actually.
Yeah.
It could be it's salty, like adding a little bit of table. It's not going to make it a saltier beer, but it's going to make the chocolate shine a little bit more.
Yes. We're talking like 10 grains of salt in this size. You know what I mean?
Just a smidge.
That's wild.
When Dr. O'Brien is who suggested that, and she said that, and I was like, I was very skeptical, and then I did it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
holy crap!
Well, she worked in the dairy industry for a long time.
I think the closest thing I can equate that to is I had a buddy that was talking to me about, and I think it was, can't remember if it was Gentleman Jack or if it was just regular number 7. He was like, next time you have it, he goes, just put a drop of water. Like if you're drinking it neat, don't drink it on the rack. If you're drinking it neat, put a drop of water in it. He goes, and it opens up the whiskey and it makes it taste completely different. I'm not a whiskey head, so like I can't sit there and go, oh, you know, I'm tasting much different. Everybody I've talked to that's like big into Jack Daniels, I'll ask them about that, and they go, game changer every time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a little drop of water. It's not, you're not cutting it, you're not putting ice in it, you just drop of water and it opens
Like
everything
you
up.
could literally hold an ice cube in your hand and just hold it over it and wait for the couple of drops to come.
And then as soon as you're done.
That's it.
And then after that, interesting. That's kind of what I equate that to.
Mhm.
This one, big fan.
Awesome. Thank you.
Big fan of this one. The color threw me off a little bit. Doesn't even matter because as soon as I took a sip of that, it tasted just like, I mean, it's a chocolate milk stout.
Yeah. And we've battled, and that's my biggest sticking point is calling it a stout. But what else do you call it?
He wants to call it. He was like, "Can we call it a brown ale?" I was like, "Nobody wants to drink a chocolate milk brown ale."
You don't
doesn't sound
Oh, it sounds terrible.
chocolate milk beer. So what I would say is I kind of modeled the recipe off of what's called a sweet stout.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to impart any roastiness.
right.
Right.
Just enough dark malt to. There's a lot that goes into it,
No, hey, I'm here for it.
but so I don't even know where to start.
Start at the beginning, bro.
At the beginning. So I wanted it dark enough and not all the roastiness and bitterness that you would get in a normal stout. So I'll put a little bit of chocolate. And, you know, I'll do a little more next time. Maybe a little bit of dehusked black malt. Just a tiny bit. I forgot the other.
That's gonna do it.
Well, and Dr. O'Brien suggested black cocoa
Yes. A little bit of that too.
would impart almost no flavor, and the flavor that it does is a little bit of chocolate.
Okay.
That's where I was going. So in this recipe, I used a lot of grains that are really high in protein.
Yeah.
And polyphenols. So that way it would give it more of a haze. And then my idea was that the chocolate powder would create more of a hazy look, almost like chocolate milk.
Right.
Didn't quite work.
Yeah.
Because of the chocolate milk powder that they have has a lot of, what do you want to say?
I'm talking about
Not coagulants.
the thickening agents.
Yeah, the
or whatever.
thickening agents that are in there that are heat active.
Mhm.
And I put the chocolate milk powder on the cold side. So none of that would really stays in suspension. So when it's cold crashing in the cooler, it all just kind of drops out.
Mhm.
So it's not quite as hazy as I want it to be. But it still is a little bit. So I'm thinking if I darken it up a little bit, the stout word won't be too much of a stickler.
And maybe we do 2 adds of the chocolate, and you do one when it's hot, and you do one when it's cold.
Taste them side
Yeah,
by
I
side.
can do that too. Well, I need to try it. I'm afraid of that thickening agent, but maybe it'll be amazing. Yeah.
Prototype number 3.
And I think it was something you said just a few minutes ago is chocolate milk is not dark. Was that you?
Mm-hmm.
Or I was right. One of you gentlemen said that, and now that makes sense. Like if I'm sitting here and going, "Oh, this is a stout. It's not dark," and you go, "Yeah, but this is this is chocolate milk stout.
That's right.
This resembles a chocolate milk,
Right.
more than a
This
stout."
is not.
No, lump of coal.
Yeah.
Had that one last time I was here. Completely different beer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
But if I ever got a glass of chocolate milk that looked like lump of coal, I'd be like,
I see what you're saying.
not sure about that.
But in my mind, I was viewing this as a stout that would have a chocolate milk flavoring to it.
Mhm,
But in
mhm.
what you guys are trying to go for is, yes, it's a stout, but we want the chocolate milk to shine, and then kind of like the rest of it to be like complementary on the back end, which in that case, it works.
Yeah.
I get it. Just in my mind, when I see stout, I automatically think of something like
Yes,
this.
for sure.
And I think there's a very clear distinction here that I like to tell people is that it's not a chocolate milk stout.
It's a chocolate milk stout.
That's where it's at.
Word play. It's not a chocolate
about that.
milk stout. It's a chocolate milk stout.
Yes.
I love it.
That's excellent. Excellent distinction.
Uh,
This is like comma save lives. You guys, the meme,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like let's eat, comma grandma, or let's eat grandma.
Yep.
Or no comma. Let's eat grandma. Comma save lives.
I think I got to be in English, so it's either the mushrooms talking or okay, I see. Yeah, so it's either like Jeffrey Dahmer or
Yeah.
okay,
Or let's eat.
or let's eat, grandma.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Not Jeffrey Dahmer. The guy from Hannibal Lecter. Yeah,
I
my
mean,
bad.
Either way.
Either way, it's not a good experience. So
grandma.
let's move down the line then. So, do we want to stick with the order? Do we want to go wintry mix, or do you guys want to?
Let's go lump of coal.
Want to go lump of coal first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have had this one. This is the only one out of everything that we've had today that I have had.
Okay, good.
So I was in a tap room here probably a couple of weeks ago. I was sitting up at the bar with my buddy DJ, and it was just I was having a bad day, and I was just like, I messaged DJ and I was like, hey, I'm headed to Cedar Glade. Do you want to go? And he was like, yeah, let's go. He goes, there's a couple there I haven't tried yet. So we went up, and this one for me was just like, that was all I needed. I had one, and I didn't need anything else. So like this one for me, it hits the right palate for me. Like it was just what I needed. It was cold enough outside, but it wasn't like overbearing, and it's just I wanted something I could just sip on for a few minutes, and this was the one for me. So
Well, and I'll tell you, so our year-round stout, Stones River Stout, very light-bodied, very easy drinker, low ABV. It's 5 flat, I think.
Yeah.
This one is definitely a winter stout. It's more robust.
it is.
It's a lot higher in alcohol. What is this one? 9.1?
I think it's 9.
Yeah, 9.1 alcohol. And it's a big beefy stout.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's tasty.
And I'll tell you, this beer, full disclosure, was not designed to go on tap. It was fully designed to go in a barrel,
Mhm.
which it is in a barrel.
It is in a barrel.
I just had a whole bunch left over, so it's on draft.
Wow.
So when you say it goes into a barrel, like you were barrel aging this one,
Yes,
and then you had some left over that didn't fit, so you just stuck it on tap, and so that's what we're
that's
drinking
what
here.
this is.
So the other question I have then is, do you have some of the barrel beer?
It's not ready yet.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, all right.
Sitting right over there.
It's sitting right over there.
It's over there,
Oh,
actually.
it's over there? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
that was my fault. Yeah,
Chattanooga bourbon
Nice.
yeah.
That's it's what, probably April. Then I want to be ready. May. The Chattanooga one.
barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one went in a lot earlier than the other ones.
Uh-huh.
But the feedback
Man.
is good,
Yeah,
even though it wasn't really designed to go on draft.
To stand alone. Yeah.
that'd be very interesting to see this one barrel aged.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this one barrel aged.
Me too.
Yeah, you've piqued my interest now because I think that so this is very roasty to me.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
really bitter on the end.
Yep.
When I came in here, I was anticipating it to be a sweet beer because of the higher ABV.
Yep.
Did not get that on this beer. This is it's right in the middle of where the sweetness should be. I was expecting it to be heavier, like on the sweetness side, because of the higher alcohol. But this is exactly right. Oh, I'd love to see this barrel aged,
And you will.
and I'm just gonna have to wait. I just have to wait for it.
We haven't even pulled a sample off of that yet.
Nope.
So we don't even know what it's doing right now.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder if it'll have another sweet element to it from all the
Bourbon barrel aged.
yeah.
Well, the Chattanooga bourbon is fantastic. So if it picks up some of it's going to be awesome.
How much of it do you guys have over there? Like, how big is that barrel?
56 gallons.
56?
53, 56, somewhere around there.
That's
Standard barrel
gonna
size.
go fast.
It is.
minute you pull
Okay.
that out and put that on tap, it's going to go fast.
Yeah.
Or is the plan to bottle or can it and sell it? Like what's
So both.
both? You're going to can it and then
Probably do 5-gallon keg.
Yeah.
Throw it on draft,
Ooh,
and then either
And the rest.
can
Okay.
the rest.
hell yeah.
Yeah, we're switching from bottles. We did just make that decision on all of our special release beers. We're going to switch away from bottles and go to the 16 cans.
yeah. Well, you have the canning line. Yeah, canning line.
The small canning line.
Yeah.
And bottles they're just not as durable.
Right.
You know.
Harder to transport. They're heavier.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Economically, it makes more sense to go to a can as well, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and they're fresh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to open up a giant bottle of beer,
Right.
That's the other thing.
especially a big beer. Right.
Yeah.
So is this going to go in a 16 ounce
Yeah.
then or 12 ounce?
4
16.
packs of 16.
4 packs of 16.
Hmm.
Hate buying beer. Put it on my tab.
And there we go.
Solid one.
Yeah, that's really tasty. Thank you. Really tasty.
We're doing Wintry Mix.
Wintry mix.
Yeah, if
Okay.
you use Simic, it's going to completely wreck your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Let's say rinse with some water.
Yeah,
After
for sure.
doing it.
Okay. I don't know what style of beer this is. This wintry mix.
That's all you, baby.
You brewed it.
Say it's a mild sour.
Mild sour.
Mild sour.
Okay.
Like it's not as
Kettle?
low in pH and no.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
All yeast.
Okay. You taught me that last time, by the way. We were sitting on this episode because I was
The
asking.
kettle sour?
Yeah, I didn't know the difference. I mean, like I knew there was a difference, but like, what's the difference between a kettle sour and then something that may be like that might have soured naturally or soured in like barrels or like yeast in it? But the kettle sour is like it's a more efficient, it's a faster way of doing things. So that was all new to me. So I asked that question specifically because now I know what I'm doing.
Well, and
Yeah,
the kettle sour is fairly consistent as well. That's the big thing. It's
Yeah.
reproducible. Right?
You can make the same thing, the same result.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a good
it's
point.
just-
You don't think? Yeah,
Yeah, once I get to that
you
certain
control it.
pH range,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you just shut it off.
Crashing out.
Nice.
You throw stuff in a barrel and you rely on some type of natural souring.
Out of your hands, right?
Yeah, you're going to do volume 1, volume 2. I mean, it's just not going to be the same.
Well, that's why series exists, right?
That's right.
Raise the font.
That makes sense.
That's it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one tree mix then. Let's go. There's a lot going on in this beer.
It's very nice, though.
There's a lot. Oh,
And I specifically didn't tell you anything about it other than mild sour. Because I wanted you to taste it first. And
I want to say I'm picking up blueberries for some reason, but
blueberry?
yeah,
There's something sweet in there.
right now my palate's thinking blueberry, but it might be.
Well, we just had that
Yeah.
blueberry.
it might be the mushrooms.
Are you seeing blueberry?
Gosh, not yet.
You had to think about it. The whole first round was all mushrooms.
Some CBD. That's right.
Shoot.
You all right, Mitch?
So I think I've got chemistry happening inside me.
Okay.
I'm having a chemistry lesson last night, and keyword yes. So yeah, for some reason the non-alcoholics just started the storm. So anyway,
Yeah.
it's curious.
Okay.
I'm in a phony situation.
You don't need to elaborate anymore. We're good with that.
Enough said, bro.
Wintry mix. What's the? I agree. I think I agree with Mitch. There's some sort of fruitiness to it. I don't know if it's blueberry that I'm picking up, but I don't know what it is. So in my mind, I would also default to blueberry, maybe because Mitch said so. But what is?
I think that's why. Okay, so the yeast strain I used on this is, I believe it's a thermotolerance. So what it does is it'll ferment your sugars into acid, basically. So you're dropping your pH instead of creating alcohol. And then once it gets to a certain point, it'll kick over and then it'll start converting into alcohol. But at that point, you can let it keep riding. It can ferment for a long time and eventually get to where you want it. But I ended up pitching Kvike yeast right after that, and then that took over the rest of the fermentation.
Huh.
So it did add some citric notes to it.
Kvike adds a lot of citrus a lot of times.
Any type of like Kvike or Kvik, like IPA or something I've had has been like really carbonated, like super bubbly. I don't know if it was just happenstance like that, or if is it a strong yeast strain? Is that what it is?
Well, they ferment furious.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, the carbonation, like, that's controlled.
Right. You could kill it earlier. You could let it ride. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense.
You had a Sweet Relief blonde. It's a Kvike.
No, I haven't.
So and it's got a lot of citrus notes to it, but it's all from the yeast.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was the base of the fermentation. In the mash, I added cinnamon sticks, mashed, transferred over to the boil. At the end of the boil, I added nutmeg, cardamom, ginger.
Oh,
Ginger.
Just a little bit
I
of
get a
all of it.
little ginger.
And then post fermentation on the cold side, I add a little bit of cranberry.
There it is.
huh.
Yeah,
That's the sweet and tartness.
Nice.
I think it's cranberry. It has to.
it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. That's exactly what it is. That's solid.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was just something completely different that we've never done before. Do something for the winter, and
It is different from the offerings you guys normally have.
Oh, yeah.
Was this like an experiment for you?
oh yeah, definitely.
Let's try this.
The idea was, when you cook the little stuff on the stove,
Yeah.
and you put the cinnamon sticks in it, and that's kind of what it tastes like.
Gotcha. There's a lot. There's many flavors and profiles going on in that beer. None of them seem to like clash with each other. So I appreciate that. And the alcohol on that one was
6,
okay. Sounds about right.
I think.
Oh, that's probably
we can probably just look at the board. Right?
6-2.
6.2. Yep.
Yeah, but that's reading. Remember, I wasn't good at.
Yeah, that's
I wasn't good in
If
English.
you got a B, you should have still been able to read.
Well,
You sure that wasn't?
I was reading that I got a B.
That was a long time.
That was a long time ago. That was elementary. All right, final one. We saved this one. You said we're drinking this one last.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
This is a special beer. So,
Sandwich? Very special.
yeah. So this beer has been in the making well over 2 years.
Whoa.
So Mike Simic, if you're involved in the Murfreesboro, especially homebrew community scene, and you have been for a while, Mike Simic was one of the founding members of the Mid-State Brew Crew. I never had the pleasure of meeting him. I've heard a bazillion stories. And of course, actually, I just saw him come in. My partner, Jeremy, was in Mid-State Brew Crew. And so Mike kind of brought the practice, the whatever you want to call it, sours, like true sours, those like Belgian sours and such, to kind of to the forefront here.
Right.
And so that was his thing, right? And so he would help people learn how to make them, and then coach them through it. And when they finally got one that was pretty good, he would take a sip of it, and his thing was, "This does not suck."
Nice.
And that was like the highest compliment you could get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So on the tap handle and on the bottle, we did bottle this beer. We actually said this does not suck.
This does not suck.
What's on there?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
But it is. Talk about the beer itself. I'll get one. You talk about the beer for a second.
Yeah. Okay. So I brewed this beer.
Get a little bit more into the mic. I'll be
Yeah,
fine.
sorry.
No, you're good.
No, so I brewed this beer September 7th of 22.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Over 2 years ago.
Yeah. When I actually pulled this up,
Wow.
it says conditioned 842 days on here, because there's still some more beer in the barrel.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great looking.
But I brewed it September 7th, 22.
Wow.
It went in the barrel, which is a wine barrel out of California. I think the vineyard was Hookers or Brooks.
Okay.
Don't hate me on that one.
Oh, I love it.
But it went into the barrel September 29th of 22, and then it came out of the barrel about a week before that bottling date that's on there. Just to cold crash it and carbonate it, and then we bottled.
Very nice.
I love the coloring on it. It's just the label works great with the bottle.
Yeah.
And so it's more of a ode broom style, however you would say that.
Yeah.
So it's like a brown sour ale.
Wow. Okay.
Barrel aged for a very long time.
9.1%
Very nice.
ABV. Oh, I want to try it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Thank you. Woo! That is the work of 2 years.
That is.
Yeah.
Wow.
That does not suck.
Oh yeah,
That's fantastic.
it is so flavorful. Oh, and actually, another thing that I could point out on this recipe, the yeast that we had used, I guess it was 2 different yeasts. Last time y'all were here, y'all tried the Native Creatures.
I don't remember if we tried it on the air, but we
did. I'm pretty sure.
it was on the
good.
Yeah, it was towards the end. Of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Same yeast
Okay.
for this beer.
Oh.
So it was the yeast harvested off of a Tennessee honeysuckle and a moonshine cherry that was blended together, primary fermentation. And then the other was from a different fruit tree out of California. They dried it out, and then it went straight to the barrel.
And what I left out also, of course, I was speaking in past tense. Mike passed away, unfortunately, much too early.
Rest in peace.
In life. And so when we had the bottle release for this, we had a ton of the Mid-State Brew crew was here. Of course, our Mug Club was here. A lot of folks kind of spoke about him and you know what he did for the beer community. We have a tap handle over there that when he passed, the brew crew created this tap handle. It sat at Panther Creek for quite a while, and so we've got it now with this beer on tap.
Nice.
And so anyway, and we're going to donate. We're going to make a donation. Mike was heavily involved at St. Rose in their school. So once we sell out the bottles, we'll make a donation over to St. Rose in his honor.
I was about to ask if we're drinking these out of the bottle, but we're drinking out of the tap.
This is on tap.
Yes. On tap.
Yeah. And so I have probably half of that barrel still. So it's a puncheon, it's about 132 gallons. So it's probably still half full, maybe a little less. The idea now, so we have Simich.
Yep.
The idea is to age it on like cherries. And then, so I'll pull another half of that out. So a quarter, age it on cherries, re-release it as a Simich red. Potentially. That's all kind of in the works. But in the works to make it a Solera method. So I'll just continue to brew sour beers or whatever kind of beer that I want. Throw it in the barrel, and all the bugs that are in there will just sour it as it goes. And you just continue to use that. And you don't have to pitch any more bacteria or anything.
Very nice.
That's a fun concept.
That's awesome.
That's like the old infinity bottle for you folks, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
This is one of my favorites of the day. I don't say that lightly because I'm not big on wild ales, sours. You know that, Mitch.
Oh yeah.
Kettle sours fruited sours is typically where I go, just because I like sweeter than I like tart, but I also like kettle sours more than I do like other kind of sours, because for me kettle sours is more tart than funky.
Yes, this is funky.
It is. It's kind of to me, but I typically stray away from this stuff. But for whatever reason, I'm gravitating towards this, and maybe that's a palate change, or maybe it's just an ode to your brewing process, your aging. Great work, by the way.
Thank you.
But for some reason, it can't say it better. It does not suck. It's a really good beer.
Definitely does not.
I don't know if you mentioned this. We would be remiss to not mention Art Whitaker in this as well. So a lot of folks in the beer community in Middle Tennessee and really all over the place are familiar with Art, and Art's done a lot of work, especially with sour beer. What's the name of his podcast?
Milk the Funk.
The funk.
Milk's fun.
Yeah.
Well, and so Art, and I forget his friend's name that's out in California.
Daniel.
So
Yeah.
Daniel actually wrote the recipe. and then art was obviously a big part in this. So they wrote the recipe.
What's it? Is it Little Animals? Is that the name of his brewery?
Mitch, you had a Little Animals.
I don't think so.
Emerald
Is that
Sun.
right?
How's that?
I'm not sure. Anyways, so
And then
You're right.
Rick as
Yeah.
well. Huh.
yeah,
Was it Little Animals?
That's right. I think that's right, isn't it?
Paul Art.
All right, love you. If I got it wrong, I'm sorry.
Mitch had this beer the other night. It had a California Pale Ale.
Is that Little Animals Brewing? Yeah, I had Emeralds.
Is that in California?
No, this one's Johnson City.
Okay, that's it.
So
That's not it.
Little Animals. Gotcha.
Anyways,
I got excited for a second.
so I just made the beer. I didn't create the recipe, and then Rick
Bean curd turtle.
Nice.
bean curd turtle. That
Bean curd turtle.
Oh, right. I see it now. Bean curd turtle.
Bean
And
curd
then-
turtle. Sorry.
I've been reading.
is
That's that C.
Rick's.
Yeah.
This one here. He was the one that helped with the yeast side of it and
Mhm.
built the yeast up, and gave us the yeast to make this beer.
Rubidium.
So I just brewed it and slapped it in a barrel.
There you go. Rubidium.
He's a home brewer
Yeah,
at the moment.
he actually, I think Rubidium won the homebrewers
2 years ago,
award
right?
2 years ago at the Common John Family Reunion.
Yes,
Beer
they did.
Festival.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
we got a chance to talk with them for a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
good guy.
Awesome dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good guy. And great beer maker.
Yeah, every
Yes.
time, too.
Yeah,
Yes, he makes great beer.
and he's been, I think, at the Common John Beer Festival
Mhm.
every year. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, Rick's doing some good stuff out there, and he's pretty smart in the lab.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
So I don't want to discount your work on this one either. Like, even though you didn't create the recipe, you created, yeah,
I just brewed it and put it
Yeah.
in the barrel.
it's
you
great. Though.
executed, and you executed very,
Yeah.
very well.
Because I could have royally, this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a good hire.
Yes.
I was actually going through this episode because kind of like we like reminiscing about it or whatever, and like hearing the story of how like you were coming from out west.
Yep.
And coming back here and like how you emailed Jonathan and like still in college and all that kind of
Yep.
stuff. So
Yeah.
obviously out now, but
Yes, sir.
that's good work.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's
And
a
this
good
is-
one.
That's
And-
fantastic.
And this is all of these have been, well, all of the Cedar Glade ones have been great. But okay, so this auto CBD cider right here,
It's delicious.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Really freaking.
I'm not a
good.
big cider fan, just like you were saying.
Yeah. But it's not so sweet. I
No.
know the thing with a
Yeah.
lot of ciders are just
Yeah.
too syrupy.
Yeah. So I think the mushrooms mixed with the CBD definitely was what got Mitch going. With last night, we combined last night. Last night was rough. I mean, it was one of those. We started out at proper sake or rice vice, having sake flights and beers, and then we moved to, I think, went to Nobles where we had like wings and like smoked bologna sliders.
Yeah, I had a few cocktails after the sake thing, and
Yeah.
then I came back, had more sake.
Uh-huh.
Then we had those beers, and it just
And then we get here today.
It was
Jonathan was like, "You know what sounds really good right now? Mushrooms."
well, I just did not expect that kind of body chemistry to happen with me today. I mean, you never know. It was wild.
Let's just dump a big old sour on top. Why not?
Because why not?
So we've got about 5 cases of 12 of those bottles left, and that'll be it. That will never be bottled again like that. And then we've got a little bit of it on tap. So
Right.
if you're a sour fan, if you're watching this and you love sours,
Come get this beer.
you need to do that.
This one right
Yeah,
here.
that is incredible.
9.1%, 16.9 ounce bottle, 22 ounce bottle. Sorry about that. 22 ounce bottle. Oh, I love that. I was telling Robert, I love the bottle, like the can art or the bottle art, like the label, the coloring on it
Yeah.
works perfectly with the dark
It
bottle.
does. My partner Jeremy made those labels. Yeah, he was just
Right
here.
there.
I don't know where he went, but he made those labels. He did a good job on those.
Can't get it to focus. I love the Mid-State Brew Crew on the side as well. Yep, there's the Rubidium logo as well.
Milk the Funk podcast.
And it's the Funk Podcast.
And that's really, I mean, at least nationwide. Like there's brewers all over the country that listen to that podcast.
Mhm.
I've met brewers up in Washington State that listen to that.
Wow.
Oh, man.
And Art lives here in Murfreesboro.
Yep.
If y'all never had him on the show,
No, we
it'd be fun.
Get him.
let's
Maybe
get that
not.
information out
Yeah.
once we
Hold on to your seat, though,
Yeah.
because he's going to talk.
Yeah. We've had a couple of those on there, though, but they're always a good time.
Yeah.
Every single time. They're always super
great.
knowledgeable.
Well, if you want to have him on your show, and step out of this, but you're welcome to use this space to have him.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Always, and here is always a good vibe too. So I mean, we came right in here, and it's like you just want to set up the same place as last time, and perfect. Yep, let's do it.
Works out well.
So I feel like I'm at home here. Damp January, I think, has been a success.
Y'all brought some stuff to sample, though, right?
We did. We did. Mitch brought.
I'm more than happy to share it, but we're probably about at time.
I was going to say, turn mics off. Let's clean up, and then let's share the bottles kind of off the mics.
Yeah.
And then you guys can have a chance. I will say, Mitch brought two complete opposite ends of the spectrum beers. I kind of think maybe we start with your sour that you brought, and then we move to the stout.
I guess we'll honorably, or we'll mention it.
Call it out.
Yeah,
real quick.
definitely call it out.
Good call. While he's opening that, very much appreciative of you guys. I
Appreciate
love
that.
coming here, and obviously you could have chosen anywhere, but Murfreesboro, really super grateful to have you. I just love being right down the road from somewhere where I can just go bring my laptop after work one day and just sit at a table and just post up.
We know we're opening at 2 on weekdays now.
Is that new?
Mm-hmm.
It's here. Okay.
So you can come and
I have nothing else to do during the week.
just come on.
Just come here.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I was talking about you.
No,
You have a
I'm
window
all the time anyway.
Okay, that's
So I figured if I'm going to be in the building, we
get
might
other
well
people
open the
in too.
doors.
That's a good point. So yes, absolutely.
Honorable mention of Dynamic Ales out of Chattanooga. It's got, I'm going to butcher this first cherry, but Montmorency
Uh-huh.
and Balaton cherry, sour red Solera.
Ooh,
That's
their method.
going to be the next
Is that what you were mentioning?
Yes, that's it. So that's what they do. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then we
That's a
have,
cool tie-in.
Yeah.
That is a really cool
that was
coincidence.
perfect.
Yeah.
And then we've got a Batch 1 Theory 6th Anniversary Cake Barrel Aged Series.
Sure, that can teach me a thing or two because this will be my first time doing it.
Southern Grist, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
22-month and 15-month bourbon barrel aged imperial stout. It's conditioned on toasted coconut, cocoa nibs, candy pecans, toasted pecans, pistachio, and vanilla bean.
And it's a 6th anniversary.
Yeah.
I hope the coconut's fallen off a little bit because
Yeah, me too.
I know coconut is a pretty quick adjunct to kind of fall off, and I'm not big on coconut, so I'm hoping if it's there, it's
Yeah.
light.
Mm.
Do you like coconut?
I love coconut.
I do not like coconut.
So this should be an interesting taste test.
coconut.
So we'll do that. Cedar Glade Brews. We've got the gentleman at the table. Thank you guys very much. Raise the glass.
Appreciate it for having us.
See you guys on the next episode.
Cheers.
Cheers.